Hello, everyone. My name is Sakele Ndabeni. I'm the CEO, founder of Greenspaces South Africa. We do environmental podcasting, journalism, cycling destination events, and children's projects. We are here to introduce our first podcast, which is hosting Sandile, who is the CEO and founder of Culture Cycles. They are doing and pioneering wonderful, innovative programs in Khayelitsha. And we are here to introduce our host, Kwezi, who is going to be interacting with Sandile. All the best, and thank you very much.
So, Mr. Mavunda, can you please tell us more about your green economy project?
Thank you, Kwezi, for that question. So we started a community bike shop, which is called Culture Cycles. We are based in Khayelitsha, and the whole idea about starting this bicycle shop was not only just to get people on bicycles, to ride bicycles as a sport, but it was more to get more people on bicycles, to start using bicycle as a mode of transport. And I think that's what everyone in the city, in particular, also City of Cape Town, ourselves and other advocates in cycling have been sort of gearing towards, is that the more we have more people on bicycles, we have healthier communities, we have less pollution, we have less congestion on our roads. That means actually more people are actually living quite longer. But in particular is that we have such an amazing inclusive mode of transport that can get you from one point to another at a very affordable cost.
What I picked up from what you said, you spoke of bicycles being used as mode of transport, not only as a sport. So this leads me to the next question, which is, why is sustainability important to you?
I think in a broader sense, I think everybody is trying to live more sustainably. They're trying to move more sustainably. They're trying to actually tour even more sustainably. You finding different modes or finding different ways of moving. But I think to us as a brand, the reason why we actually started Culture Cycles was really to impact our community in much more of a greater way, in more of a positive way, in more of a way they can actually change their lifestyle, for example, lead a more healthier lifestyle, create a community, a sense of community that is not just driven by consumption, but is more driven by giving back. But as part of our business, one of the greatest things that we've done actually, especially when COVID hit, was to start using bicycles as a mode where we trying to encourage even small businesses to use bicycles as cargo bicycles to get their products to market. I mean, that's another way, instead of actually driving your car to actually deliver whatever your product is. Instead, you can take a bicycle, put a crate in it, and be able to ride your bicycle to wherever you need to drive. So by saving just that, few kilometers instead of driving your cycle, that's actually quite a positive impact. But now I think the biggest challenge is, how do we ensure that we provide people with a more sustainable transport to commute to work, right? With fuel prices going up, how do you manage that as well? So we've started to really attract people in terms of showing the benefits, firstly, of course, saving on your emissions, but importantly, of actually having more money at the end of the month, because everybody would like that. So a bicycle then presents you not only just the health benefits, but it presents you the economic benefits as well. And I think these are some of the things that we have taken really to incorporate into our business, where we're saying, as Culture Cycles, we do not drive, we just actually cycle to meetings, for example. So now we're trying to encourage other businesses around Khayelitsha, for example, to start taking up cycle, to start moving, using different modes of transport, whether it's that being, walking, taking your skateboard, if ever you need products to deliver somewhere.
Hearing your response leads me to asking you about what are the benefits of cycling. I mean, in Khayelitsha, as a person, I want to come and cycle, and I'm thinking, is it safe to cycle in Khayelitsha? What about the cars that are moving around? Or, in your perspective, what was the whole idea of safety in terms of cycling?
There's been quite a lot of challenges. One, you're establishing something quite new in the townships, which is basically saying to people, leave your car, jump on a bicycle. I mean, majority of people love their cars. So if you want to get them on a bicycle, it's quite a massive culture change. I think also another thing that we've found very, very difficult as Culture Cycles it's operating and understanding and building a community, right? So understanding is how people actually work in the townships. But at the same time, we were very fortunate to really overcome that challenge of really trying to build a culture, trying to make people understand some of the benefits of cycling, for example. And I think the major thing that we were worried about was safety. Safety on the roads, safety on people just in general within the area. Safety, I think many people, when they think about Kailicha, it's like, I'm going to get mugged, which is not the case. And we've been working with other stakeholders, for example, the patrol officers, where we donated bicycles to them to actually patrol the area using bicycles. So they ensure that they are quite quickly to arrive at a particular area. There's ease of mobility for them to move around instead of walking. But I think one other safety element that we have started to find is that people feel more at ease when they're on their bicycles, right? I think now we are still advocating for more infrastructure to be in Kailicha so that people can cycle more safer. But I think there's the safety element of it. We have tried to address it. For example, even reaching out to taxi associations. I think when you are riding your bicycle, the first thing you're thinking, you're going to get hit by a taxi, for example. But we've been very direct in terms of how do we create a relationship with the taxi association. And just a funny story is that we took 10 bicycles, for example. We took them to Site C at the taxi rank, and we donated those 10 bicycles to the taxi rank. But our request from the taxi rank was that we want you guys to use these bicycles. They must be used by your marshals to patrol the area to ensure that people are actually coming to the taxi rank safe, so that they can actually, feel free to walk, knowing that there's someone or there are people that are looking after them. But I think for us, the gain there was that there's a lot of bicycles now within the taxi rank, and the taxi drivers are so used to seeing bicycles and cyclists within their own vicinity. So when they are actually seeing me now as a cyclist on the road riding my bicycle, they can already familiarize themselves, or they know that this is a cyclist, they are sharing the road with me, so I must treat them with respect.
Okay, wow. I actually have a very new perspective of Kailicha after hearing you say that. So the next question is, what is your impact of your efforts to your community?
That's a very good question, because I think we've also been grappling with the same question to ask ourselves. It's been 5 years running culture cycles. What impact have we made? And I think we came to a point where we really started to take stock of what we have done, not only just as a business, also as individuals. I think the quickest one for me personally has been, to have this one little boy that comes to the shop with his broken down bicycle, and we are able to fix that bicycle, and he leaves there with such an amazing smile. And the following day, he brings 10 more friends to come to the bike shop. And I think for us, that for me personally has been quite an amazing experience, has been such a very good impact, because not only do you just expose people to bicycles, especially younger people, you build up their confidence. All of a sudden now they can speak a little bit more louder. Now they carry themselves a little bit more better than they would. They're able to move one point to another without depending on anyone. They can go from Makaza, for example, to Town 2 on their own two wheels. But I think on the greater scheme of things in how we have changed our community, I think we have sort of brought a little bit of hope, right? And especially now with so many things that are actually going on around the country, you have this, if I can say so myself, this amazing business that is built based on community values that has touched so many lives, not just only on getting more people on bicycles, but on opening up job opportunities, creating a space where people can actually come, connect, network, and share ideas. But I think also we have, made quite a greater impact on schools in terms of how kids travel from home to school. Because I think one of the studies actually show that kids walk about 15 minutes, if not 30 minutes, to school. Some even walk for an hour. But we've been able to adopt a school that is close by to us to say, we want to bring in the cycling culture within the school. We want to change the lives of students, and particularly grade 12s, because that's like the biggest time where you need to be able to move. You need to be able to stay at school for longer hours. How are you able to move from home to school? And if you have a bicycle, that's even better, right? You can move from your home to school. You can go to soccer practice. You can go and study. Based on this thing that you have, this transport that you can actually use. So I think our impact has been not only just on different individuals, but it's been on businesses as well, in terms of how we have inspired them to sort of relook at how they move their products and how they move themselves.
Wow, interesting. Okay, so now we have a follow-up question from our founder, Mr. Sakele Ndabeni.
So from a sustainable development goals agenda perspective, economically, what is Culture Cycle trying to address in the community?
Thank you very much for that question, Sakile. I think one of the biggest conversations now that we are having, and also I think that we are trying to showcase, is the impact of bicycles, or let me rather say the economic impact of bicycles. And I think where we are right now, firstly, economically, what we are trying to address is to encourage much more younger entrepreneurs to take up the space of opening up their bicycle shops, for example. We are trying now to train more bicycle mechanics as well, particularly female mechanics, to open up their own bicycle shops. Funny enough, you won't believe, there's only about 4 female mechanics that we know about, but they're just mechanics. They don't own their own bicycle shops. But I think part of that is we're trying to now bring the manufacturing of bicycles back into South Africa. Before cars became a thing in South Africa, in Boksburg, Johannesburg, there used to be a vibrant bicycle manufacturing hub in Johannesburg, and we want to bring that back. I think organizations such as Kubeka, for example, have shown us the possibilities of creating a valuable ecosystem that can really be driven by young people and can produce jobs, can create a lot of entrepreneurs. There's been a lot of conversation that cyclists actually do spend more money in terms of at coffee shops, at restaurants, and also when it comes to travel and tourism. But we are still struggling to find research that actually shows that in a South African context. So we have just recently teamed up with University of UCT to see if ever we can actually have such a study that will showcase some of these economic benefits of cycling.
You have an interesting title, the Cape Town Bicycle Mayor. So can you tell us more about that?
So I was trying to avoid that question, but being the bicycle mayor of Cape Town, I'm not the first one. There's been the previous bicycle mayor, Lebogang Mokoena, and the whole initiative, it's a global initiative that is started by a bicycle mayor network, an organization that's based in Amsterdam. Holland is quite big in terms of cycling, so it's literally the capital country of cycling. So we draw all the inspiration from there. But the whole goal of Bicycle Mayor Network is to create a huge number of advocates all around the world that will really fast track the development of cycling in different cities. So I've been fortunate enough to be one of those individuals now that get to serve a 2-year term, working not only just with the city of Cape Town, but working also with other advocating organizations around Cape Town to really drive the cycling agenda within Cape Town. So we have a lot of activities lined up, and we're looking forward to even getting you on a bicycle very soon.
Wow, this conversation is so interesting. So I have the last question for you, which is how can people get involved? And how can people reach you?
It's been such a great honor to have some time to talk to you. And also I think there's many ways that people can actually get involved with us at Culture Cycles. We are always looking for volunteers. We are always looking for people to collaborate with. For example, one of the things you can do, it's either you can visit us at Culture Cycles. We have 2 stores. You can either come to our flagship one, which is at Kailita Mall in Kailicha, just next to one of the big banks there, which I will not mention. Or you can actually visit us at Rand's, just behind Rand's in Kailicha, B section. That's one of our stores there. But we'll prefer you to go to the much more nicer one with the coffee shop next door. But we're always looking for people to get involved. We have a full-on workshop as well that people, I mean, if ever you are quite interested to learn how to fix a bicycle, for example, you can just come in, join us. We are also available on all social media channels. But also they can visit our website, which is www.culturecycles.co.za.